here that's come in at the Madras High Court, raising doubts over Jayalalitha's death. The judge at the Madras High Court clarifies though that even though it's his personal opinion here, but he does have doubts over the circumstances under which Jayalalithaa breathed her last, questioning why all of it was kept so secret. Still, the details are not being revealed. Justice Vaidyalingam has raised those questions. He said that all details over former Chief Minister's death are not known, and he's asked why her health status was not made public by the party. Our correspondent Lokpriya has been getting us more inputs on this, on what really prompted Justice Vaidyalingam to make these details. Did he put this on record in court, even though clarifying there that this was his personal view? Lokpriya.
Well, that's correct. This is a public interest litigation filed by Joseph, who is an AIDMK cadre, and he says that there has been various inconsistent reports regarding the health status of former Chief Minister Jayalalithaa, and to quell the rumor mongering, the Madras High Court needs to appoint a three-member committee led by a retired Supreme Court judge to probe into the demise of Jayalalithaa. He says that the various health status, various medical bulletins that were issued were inconsistent, and thus there is a doubt in the minds of the general public as to how Chief Minister Jayalalithaa died a sudden death, because she just was moved to the normal ward, shifted out from the ICU, and just after 5 days she went into a cardiac arrest. So the petitioner says there needs to be a detailed probe, and hearing this petition, Justice Vaidyalingam of the Madras High Court states that raises questions regarding the death, and he questions as to why the central government remained quiet on this entire episode. He has posted this case on the 9th of January for further hearing.
Okay, so the next hearing, Lokpriya, there is to take place on the 9th of January. Lokpriya, we're looking at a scenario here where you have Justice Vaidyalingam well within his rights there, keeping his personal view aside though as well, in saying that he could go ahead and issue directions to the state government to release those details.
Well, these are just remarks made by the judge who is hearing the PIL. This is not an order. The main order has still not been made. The case has been posted to the 9th of January. The judge raises serious questions regarding the sudden demise of former Chief Minister Jayalalithaa. This itself can have several implications. The judge might ask the state government to submit the records, but all that is for the future when the case comes up for hearing. But as of now, the very fact that the Madras High Court judge has raised questions, this makes Apollo hospitals answerable so that they avoid any kind of legal issue in the future. Not just the Madras High Court, but we even saw several opposition leaders asking for a white paper on the sudden demise of Jayalalithaa, on the health treatment that was given to her. But the AIDMK refused to give any details, stating that world-class physicians, right from a London doctor to the AIMS doctor, as well as the well-reputed Apollo hospital, a team of world-class physicians treated Jayalalithaa, and all of them gave periodic medical bulletin, and thus the state government does not have any role to play and will not be in a position to give any details regarding the health status of Jayalalithaa. So now the Madras High Court judge making such a remark, remains to be seen what kind of political furor it will create in the state. And interestingly, what will be the AIDMK's remark to this observation that has been made by Justice Vaidyalingam?
That's right, Lokpriya, this being very different because political opponents of the AIDMK, voices from within the BJP, particularly Dr. Swamy, the DMK has continued to maintain that details should have been out. The AIDMK has continued to refute those charges of secrecy. But when you have Justice Vaidyalingam make a similar observation, it would evoke a different response perhaps from the AIDMK.
Well, definitely, yes, the AIDMK will be discussing this issue with their legal team as to how to tackle it, because when the opposition leaders ask the government, it is very easy for them to refute those charges. But if there is going to be a formal order from the Madras High Court, a formal directive asking the state government to respond, then it will be interesting to see what kind of response the state government will give. But as of now, these are only observations made by the Madras High Court. There is no binding from the AIDMK.
We have another voice here coming in, Lokpriya. Please stay with us. Independent journalist Mr. Gyani Shankaran with us as well. Thanks for being with us. In your view, should details, personal health details of a public person, one who held the chair of the Chief Minister, be made public? Is that a fair demand?
Well, per se, it may not be a fair demand. Every patient has a right to privacy. But when there are doubts raised about what kind of treatment was given, whether she could have been saved instead of being allowed to die, then these issues take a different dimension.
But Mr. Shankaran, are these just emotionally charged demands, or are they really accusing the system, the hospital, to have maintained that secrecy and not given out those details? Because there is a certain amount of input that one had kept getting in from the hospital in terms of medical bulletins.
But they were not adequate because for the last 75 days of treatment, you notice that the Chief Secretary did not issue a single statement. Chief Secretary was the person in charge. But Chief Secretary, when he is raided, he comes out and holds a press conference.
Okay, that of course being one view here coming in, that it's a fair demand to release more details. Enough is not known. But Mr. Shankaran, in the latest development, this not being a demand, this not being a charge by a political opponent as we've seen in the past few weeks, this time around it coming in from a Madras High Court judge, saying that of course it's his personal view that he would still raise doubts on the circumstances that led to Jayalalitha's death.
See, the judge has made an observation which may not be part of a judgment or an order.
Right.
So judges do make observations. But the issue is, he has issued notice to both the state government and the central government. Note that notice has been issued to both the governments, not just the state government. So both governments are now obliged to give a...
All right, Mr. Gyani Shankaran, appreciate you speaking to us. That being, of course, one view coming in from senior political analysts there, that it could be well within the jurisdiction of the judge here to give out that direction to the hospital, the state government, also loop in the central government on this, that more details should have been released. Jayalalitha supporters have continued to make that demand, a certain pocket of those supporters there. Of course, Lokpriya, it's the timing of this, if we could also bring in the timing of this being interesting as well, at a day when we've seen her close aide Shashikala being appointed unanimously as the General Secretary of the party. It is raising, pointing fingers over Shashikala and Jayalalitha's core team to have kept that secrecy on her health.
Well, definitely, the timing cannot be more apt, because the day when VK Shashikala has been elected as the General Secretary of the AIDMK, the Madras High Court has raised these very serious doubts regarding the demise of Jaya Jayalalithaa. There is a transition in Tamil Nadu politics with VK Shashikala taking over the mantle of the AIDMK. So that makes Shashikala the supreme authority of the AIDMK. And in ways, it will be interesting to see what will be the response of Shashikala as well, because she has remained the close confidant of Jayalalithaa for the past 30 years. And she was the only person who was given that kind of access at the Apollo hospitals during that 75-day hospitalization of the AIDMK Supremo Jaya Jayalalithaa. So what will be the AIDMK's response to this? How are they going to tackle this? All this has to be seen, because the party needs to stay united at this hour of crisis, and it will be interesting to see what kind of response the AIDMK will have, because when the opposition parties made a demand for white paper, the AIDMK refused and rejected that white paper demand, stating that there is no need for the white paper, because the world-class physicians who treated Jayalalithaa gave periodical medical updates. But when we talk to senior political analysts, they say that Apollo hospitals issued about a dozen medical bulletins over a period of 75 days. In the initial stages of Jayalalitha's hospitalization, only very few medical bulletins came out, and it never really talked about the ailments. It was very economical. The medical bulletins were very economical, and it in fact sounded repetitive, which said that she was on a normal diet and she is being treated for dehydration. It was only at the later course of time that there were specifics given regarding her detail. So what has caused confusion in the minds of people is that when Jayalalithaa was shifted out of the ICU, she went into the normal ward, and when Pratap C. Reddy gave interview stating that Chief Minister is doing well, she's recuperating well, and she can be discharged whenever she wants. And just 4 days after this, she goes into a cardiac arrest on the 4th of December, and then on the 5th, she passes away. So all this has created